Sure.
One of the things I'm working on is her running her head into me every time I ask for a yield. I've gotten it fixed on this side, and her not like walking over the top of me or going through me when I try to do this. She's trying to block me with her head. Or use her head to thrash or body me like that. Good. Good. So right now I'm controlling her head really, really aggressively, just kind of keeping it in exactly one place. But that right there where she puts her head against me and tries to shove is what I'm working on right now, along with getting her to yield at a quality level. And some general focus would be nice too. Stop pushing on me with your head. Right there, that where she like reaches out and hits me with her mouth, is what I'm disciplining right now. It's a general form of protest. I don't want to, so I'm going to push you away from me to try and make you stop. She's about to do it right here.
I'm gonna zoom in on her head for a minute.
Better. Okay. She's getting her nose popped every time she does something with her head, like sewing it up or thrashing it around or something along those lines. So like right there, she tries to extend it and then she tries to block me with her head. I'm yanking her head back around. There's a little thrash. She's doing the yield right now, but the constant thrashing with her head, trying to disengage me, trying to break me loose from her. Or right here where she's trying to spin in a circle. She's trying to back away from me rather than yield for me. Here we go. Should help stop her from doing stuff like that when she's in the saddle too. Try to take her head away from you and yank her head away. We start working on it here. Her head is not under her control when I'm telling her to do something like this.
We need a lot of ground flexes too.
Yeah, that could be really useful.
She looks like overall is very stiff.
She's flexible.
I mean, she'll bend it.
Want to give her head.
Yeah.
Makes it a pain to do it.
Yeah. She bring her nose, but look how high her pulse stays up. I apologize, I've mostly lost my voice.
Like right there, where she kind of slams her nose into my head out of frustration. Or her nose into my body. Girl. Surprisingly good at this. I'm going to ask her to lunge, and I'm going to tell her to lunge, and I'm going to start making light contact as I explain to her that, hey, this isn't an option, this isn't a request.
The head shake.
That's an expectation. I keep her out of my space by just applying pressure. She starts to circle in on top of me. You see, every time she kind of closes the distance, I make some kind of physical contact with her or put some pressure on her with the rope. I'm going to ask. I'm going to get a thrash. That's kind of disrespect. That's a make me sound or motion essentially. Put pressure when she cuts the corner. Cut the corner a couple of times in a row there. She's going to get a little pop, just a reminder. She's going to challenge now. We'll go get her. One of the things I'm going to regularly correct with her is her lunging with her head away from me. What that does is that points her butt at me. That's not okay. That's a sign of disrespect as well. I want to keep working on that for respect. So if she's pointing away from me, she's going to get pressure and her head pulled in the whole time. As long as she's even with me, we're fine. She's tested the same spot a couple of times. The next time she tests that same spot for a stop, she's going to get a lot higher response. The response will start off really gentle of just asking her to go again, as if it was confusion. But enough times in a row, it's no longer a coincidence, it's active. She's actively making a decision to test me right there. Testing, we're asking, see how much the pressure's going to steadily increase. I don't want to make contact if I don't have to, but if she's going to make me show her contact, then I'll show her contact. She's tested that same spot twice. Next response is more aggressive. She's seeing how far the response is going to be, how aggressive I'll be about it. She's generally testing to see whether or not there's a bite behind the bark. And if there's no bite behind the bark, then she doesn't respond to the bark. So I have to make sure that I make it clear that there is bite behind my bark. So when I swing the rope at her, it's not just swinging the rope, it leads to something.
You're about 9 minutes in. You want to do a little backup and then I'll cut it and come back to this in a minute.
Okay, I've asked nicely. Offer her an opportunity. She knows what I'm asking for. It's clear because she just did it 5 seconds prior. When she doesn't respond, I have to respond to her. That way she respects when I tell her something. So there has to be consequences for disrespect and dismissal of my request. So if I'm asking her to back up and she doesn't want to back up, there has to be something behind it. At least this first few times. Because if there isn't, then she doesn't respect it. And if she doesn't respect it, she's not gonna move when I ask her to.
It's got to be fast enough too, not just kind of backing up on her own terms.
I can't sit here and wiggle the rope for 30 seconds asking her to go when I know she knows better. So when she moves the first time and then the second time she goes, nah, maybe not this time, then the response changes. I don't want to make contact, and I certainly don't want to be mean to him, but there's a line between being mean and asking for the basic respect. Give her sure to get out of my space. When she does it right, there's no response. There's nothing after that, just the wiggle. There's nothing but the wiggle. So as long as she responds to the wiggle, nothing follows.
Good.
Horses respond to strength. Strength means nothing if I'm only ever gentle. There has to be something behind it. Otherwise, I'm not just being gentle, I'm weak. And they'll pick that up. We can give positive reinforcement. I want to give positive reinforcement, but I don't want to be weak to her. If there's no bite or bark behind my bite, or sorry, bite behind my bark, then it's just weakness. It's not gentleness, it's weakness. If I can show her that all I have to do is a little bark and she moves because there's a bite behind it, that's strength. Horses only respond to strength. I got my space. Not asking anything huge of her. I'm not asking anything difficult or anything dangerous for her. Just asking her to respond when I tell her to. That's all.